Controversy continues to swirl around Costa Mesa as the city moves forward with plans to make budget cuts and drastic changes. The Costa Mesa Police Department is set to be the next group that will undergo cuts and restructure. And on Tuesday, City Manager Tom Hatch presented his proposed plan to the council.
While we're looking to reduce the number of sworn personnel, we're looking to significantly increase the number of non-sworn personnel, and the total reduction in total personnel is approximately 4 full-time positions.
The plan, which is based on the City Council's budget as well as an outside consultant's recommendations, will ultimately bring the department down to 131 sworn officers.
I think it's also important to point out that the chief, rather emphatically in his memo, which was kind of minimized, I think, in the whole presentation, says that he feels 140 is the bare minimum we should do in terms of sworn officers.
We get Chief Stavely's recommendation, which comes in somewhere around 140, just to maintain the minimum and to not go below that. Then we hire outside consultants, very respectable outside consultants, who do an advanced study, as Mr. Hatch has said, and we come back in at around 136, which I believe is in theirs. Then the recommendation to council is 130, which is not based upon any logic that I have found inside of these proposals, or any statistical data, or any experience or expertise. So I'm left with the question is, what is it based upon? And I keep falling back on, and I keep feeling like it's based upon politics, not public safety, not the people.
I understand the importance of balancing the budget, and I understand the difficulty that you're all under, but this should really, really, really be the last thing that gets cut.
But could more cuts be on the way when the City Council votes next Tuesday?
Cities' budgets are meant to balance. And what balance means is you spend every dime you have. And if you under budgeted and more revenue comes in, you'll have what's called fund balance. And if you over budget, meaning you spent more, it'll come out of that fund balance. We have no place to come out of anymore. I'm looking at, we need to continue to find 400 plus, let's say $1.5 million for autos, and say 970 rounded off to $1 million, $2.9 million. I'd like to come back to us next week with where we can find that $2.9 million for our budget if this council chooses to go forward with that.
Steve Stavely, the city's interim police chief, warns that additional cuts could affect service and quality of life.
If we drop to, as management partners recommended, 136 officers, sworn officers, there's a degradation from the 140 that I think is minimum. And if we drop from the management partner's recommendation to 131, as the city manager has recommended, there's a degradation from 136 to 131, so there's a double degradation from where I think we ought to be to 131. If we drop below that, then there will be additional degradation, and that will result in change in the community and the way we approach policing.